Alright guys, next step we're talking about setting up your streaming setup, usually in your house. Some people rent a small office space to do this. Essentially, you're taking your DJ setup, so whatever it is that you use, your controller, your CDJs, your turntables, your mixer, 2 speakers, although if you're comfortable, you don't necessarily need speakers for this. Your headphones, a desk to put everything on, obviously, and a laptop or 2, kind of depending on the power of your laptop and what it can do and how your DJ setup is. I run 1 laptop, and actually right now I run my tower, so my tower PC, gaming PC. And what I do basically, let me adjust this. What I do is and what you'll do is you're gonna get a program called OBS. It's free. You download that, and that, a long explanation on that is kind of beyond the scope of this video, but there's a million tutorials online, and maybe even I'll make my own. Get OBS. Get that on your computer. It's a free broadcasting software that basically captures your broadcast. So sort of like what you're watching right now, my phone is capturing this broadcast. OBS captures your DJ streaming event or broadcast. If you don't have a webcam, get one. Obviously, you're going to need to set up a camera or 2. And the cool thing about OBS is that you can do like an auto switcher. So like back in my DJ Serious days, I actually had 3 webcams, and I had the auto switcher hooked up in OBS to where, like, I can't remember what it was, every 7 seconds or something like that, the camera angle would change. And the camera angle would change, more specifically, the camera would change. I had like camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3, and they were all set up in cool different angles. And the auto switcher basically would just run through the 3 cameras. Camera 1 for 7 seconds, then it switched to camera 2 for 7 seconds, then it switched to camera 3 for 7 seconds, then it switched back to camera 1 for 7 seconds. And you can get even more creative with that. Go from camera 1 to camera 2 to camera 3, and then camera 1 to camera 3 to camera 2, and just do different patterns. Almost like if you've ever messed with like a lighting, like light show software and stuff like that. So with OBS, at least 1 webcam. And then the cool thing about OBS too is that's how you see people adding like their logos and stuff onto the screen. Like on my 30-day power production course, that's what I used. And I added my logo, my pineapple guy logo and my heart hands logo, I think on the bottoms of the screen for that. I was just having fun with it. But you can add your logo, you can stream text like, you could literally stream across the bottom of the screen or wherever you want on the screen. Be sure to follow me on socials at HeartHandsMikey or whatever it is that you want your viewer to know. So OBS is extremely powerful. You could dedicate a good 2 days to a week learning that, and you certainly don't need to be an expert with it. It is a pretty simple program, but it's very, very helpful, and that's, I would say, pretty much the industry standard as far as what people use to do stuff like that. Look at this old building. How cool is that? I have the most diverse content for EDM, music production, and marketing online. Look at that. Cool old country Alabama, Florida line building, walking in the woods. Anyways, so OBS, pretty much what you're gonna do is hook your DJ mixer with a wire. It's usually a, I'm gonna turn around, or I'll go around this way. You'll run a wire, usually an RCA, from your DJ mixer into, I think it's an 1/8 inch jack, into your headphone jack of your computer. And there's other ways you can set it up too with your audio interface. So you don't necessarily need to use the headphone jack. You can use your audio interface as well. But like I said, I'm just trying to give you sort of the generals, the detailed generals, if you will. So you have OBS. You have a wire going from your DJ mixer into OBS. You have your webcam running usually on USB into your laptop. You've set up OBS and how you want the scenes to switch. You've also set up your audio levels. You put your logo on there. And the last thing that I guess could be considered broad strokes is your background. Think about what's in the background. Some people are cool with just a trippy tapestry. Some people do a little bit of cooler effects, maybe with like... can't remember what they're called. They're for sale on Amazon, but they're like these kind of diamond-shaped wall cube kind of things that kind of bend in different ways and light up and can be set to follow the patterns of the beat, which is pretty cool. That's where speakers will probably come into play and be good, because obviously in order for the lights to respond, they need some kind of audio source for them to pick up. So actually having speakers physically pushing air in the room will help that. Some people have gotten fluorescent signs made with like their DJ logo and their DJ name, and they hang that on the wall. If you look at my old DJ Sirius days, I had a huge banner that said DJ Sirius with my logo on it. The big mistake that I made though is that the banner, I can't remember if I did this or this is just how it came, but it was shiny. So it looked really good, but the problem is on camera, with the lights shining on it, unfortunately, I was always combating issues of like reflections and shine. So like parts of my logo didn't look that great because it was like a shiny vinyl, I don't want to say waxy, but just like a slick, smooth finish on there. And on camera, it doesn't look as good as with the naked eye. So I'd either stick to cloth or maybe something that's kind of like a glowing in the background, sort of like the girl, I think her name is Jaina, but she goes by JVNA. She has like a cool pink fluorescent sign of her logo and name, which is cool. Like I said, tapestries, and really the sky's the limit. The other thing that's cool too, like when I lived closer to the beach, I always wanted to do a setup where I'd get, and I still might, I priced online that you can get a solar powered generator, and for Florida, that's perfect. You can set up the generator on the beach. It does not emit any fumes. It doesn't need to be plugged in anywhere at all or anything like that. It gets its energy from the sun. And the cool thing about that is I could take that on the beach when it's not real busy, like say during the morning, and set up a simple DJ controller, run on the generator with my laptop, and basically record a beach session with the ocean and the sand and the waves and the sunshine, the sunrise behind me. You could also do that for sunset. At that time, I didn't, because it was Miami and the beaches are pretty much always busy, but right now I'm in the Panhandle, and there's a lot of places out here because of the military where you do have beach access, but they're just not all that busy. There's certain stretches of beaches that are, and there's certain stretches of beaches that really are not. So that's something to consider too. Maybe you live in an area where you have like a small neighborhood style beach that would only fit about 10 people, and it's just at the end of the road where the road runs out. You could set that up and be hardly bothered, and maybe your neighbors might ask you what the heck you're doing and look on and cheer you on a little bit here and there, but that could be cool. I also know plenty of people in Florida who their backyards eventually taper into a channel, a water channel, or a bay, or the ocean itself. So you could set something up where, since it's your backyard and it tapers into a body of water, you could do a backyard barbecue, sort of almost like a Dirty Bird meets boiler room kind of sessions, tropical style. Or like we saw with the COVID-19 thing, Marcus Schultz broadcasted from his balcony of his Miami condo, which was super cool. And I mean, you could see the bridge in the background, and I think you could see downtown Miami, and he was way high above the water. You could tell he was up high. There were palm trees. It looked beautiful. So there's a lot of different options there when considering your background. But as far as the background goes, I would think branding. you can really, really, really go down the rabbit hole on the whole streaming thing. What I would do is start small and build, because the biggest mistake I made was I did not stream until I had everything damn near perfect, and it just wasn't necessary. It wasn't the way to go. I'd rather do a simple tapestry for now, then save up for a banner, realize that you do want glowing lights behind you, so then you save up for a fluorescent logo that you'll hang, because things happen in life. You move, you change rooms, and different things like that. So I would just build as you go, just like the 30-day power production course basically does for you as a producer. It's a basic track that you've made, but it's still music, and it's still a track that you can release. Same thing here. You might have a basic setup, but you can still stream, and you can still get fans that way, and have something else in your toolbox to use as a promotional tool towards fans and promoters. So get to work on that, guys. I can make more in-depth videos about streaming if you like. I think I probably will. But for now, that's pretty much the long and the short of streaming. Go out, download OBS. Obviously, you'll need some DJ gear. And I did forget to cover the whole 2 laptop thing. I've heard of some people using 2 laptops, one for their video source, so OBS, and the other for their music source into their gear, their DJ gear. I never did that because I always used just a little thumb drive. I would download an hour or 3 of tracks and then plug that thumb drive right into my CDJ 2000s, so that took care of my music. And then my tower, or my laptop at one point, was basically just strictly OBS and recording my DJ mix. So there's some different ways to set that up, but I'm sure, as you guys are finding anyways, when you get into audio and video and stuff like that, you sort of become a working amateur tech support, troubleshooting kind of person. There's not too many people out there who study audio that don't eventually gain a working knowledge in basically sort of audio and visual IT work, if you will, just because that's what it is. Music and video is so intertwined with technology. If you don't know your way around a computer like I did, or like I did not, I was very, very green with computers. I just eventually would, take the leap, whether it be little things like, updating software, to more major things like being totally petrified to open my machine up and update the RAM. That was scary for me at one point. And then, other things like, I just bought a mouse, a really expensive gaming mouse, and one of the switches, I think it was the left click, went bad. I opened it up and I resoldered a new piece in. So instead of buying a new mouse for like 50 or 60 bucks, I just resoldered a piece I got from China that was like, gosh, I don't know, $3 or something. So $3 and an hour of time, and a soldering iron with a YouTube tutorial, and I brought that mouse back to life, and it's 5 years later still working on that part. So just a little lesson there. Now, don't be afraid to jump in, guys, and you're gonna have to watch my tutorials and read forums and ask questions to me and other people, and just go for it. You're gonna have to eventually anyways. That's just sort of the way music is. Otherwise you're gonna pay a boatload of money to always have tech support on hand, and it's just not worth it, because most of the time it's not a real big issue. You can find the solutions online. So love you guys a lot. I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next step. Peace.